bit more, but let's take a look at the bracket to show you how things are updating as our third fourth place match has reached its conclusion. Chinese Taipei will take the bronze medal in a 3-1 victory over the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as that match concluded during the duration of our first game.
Yeah, congratulations to the Chinese Taipei team. But one thing that I want to really make a mention of, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia just running the event, a tough one in their own region, coming in towards, of course, the main stage, and performing so well, taking the second place spot in Group B. This was a great journey for them, even taking the first game over Chinese Taipei. Hopefully we get to see more of them. Names like Fear, I want to be able to hear a year from now.
We'll certainly keep our eye on them as time goes on. But now turning back to this matchup, you can see the players return towards the stage once again. And despite the air conditioning going on at full blast, things are starting to heat up in this arena as the Game 1 win goes to Team China. Looks like they're staying with the same roster so far, with Ming making his return. But in this Game 2, as the lower seed, Team China have side selection to go into this next pick and ban. And that engage has been something that has been a huge priority for them over this tournament. When they lack the engage, it really seems like they struggle in these team fights. So could that be an opportunity for Team China to try and deny that with the ban's next phase?
I hate to break it to the people, to Korea, but there are a lot of champions in this game.
There are a lot, yeah.
There are a lot. They even dealt with the Camille, the Galio, the Alistar. You just can't ban it out. Really, you just have to play against it. And that's always been the charm of the Republic of Korea, is that they have never just outright challenged the team fighting, or at least the aggression that China has presented. They've played a smarter game, warded it out, and got advantages in the opposite side of the map. This time around, they just tried to fight them head on, and they failed.
And now that Team China find themselves on the blue side, Team Korea may be the ones who are forced to ban those strong 8-15 power picks. The Akali, the Aatrox, as Ryze is banned away, and Team China get a chance to limit the pool, but Team Korea, they're actually banning away the Camille and Lulu.
This is interesting. Akali is who you look towards. Remember, the LeBlanc counter pick is still up and available. China has played Akali in the past. Let Me has picked it up, and it was unsuccessful versus the Republic of Korea. This could be Korea testing China, saying, hey, if you pick it in the mid lane, we can counter pick you and have mid lane priority. If you put it in the top lane, we can just outright play around you.
And look at that, a blue side Aatrox ban to eliminate the power pick. Team China want nothing to do with it. And Team Korea, it seems like they are calling this bluff from Team China as the Rakan is banned away from Ming, removing that primary engage and support from Xie as well.
You have to pick up the Akali here. Now, Faker has played it so much, of course, in solo queue, practicing it. Keen technically could play. He's a carry top lane player. So for me, take Faker off of the Akali pick. It might go in towards Let Me's pocket, might go in towards Xie. This plays around China's heavy team fight focus, but it will limit their early laning phase. Their laning phase is going to be fairly poor now that they picked them up.
It also slows down Team China's priority towards that bottom lane. If that's a strategy they want to try to go towards in this game too, then taking the Akali first delays it, and we see Team Korea capitalizing. The Alistar now picked away from Ming, another huge setup, and Faker getting that Galio that took SKT to the finals last year. And now, to try and answer with that, MLXG will find himself on the Gragas and Uzi on his signature Kai'Sa.
But we've seen this kind of game play out before on day one. We've seen what happens when you give the Galio away to Faker and you try and pick a heavy dive composition. You just get iced out. So for Korea, I like what I see here. You can't dive Ashe and Alistar. It's going to be fairly difficult, especially with Galio looming over. Headbutt Pulverize is going to stop you in your tracks. So for China, you have to play it smart. I would like to see the Akali go in the mid lane. It just makes it so you're going to have to play a little bit of a slower game. And MLXG getting onto Gragas is actually fairly important for the team fights. Last time around, he had the Olaf, which makes it difficult to isolate individuals. This time around, if Galio comes up, you can isolate him. Maybe you can kill him early on.
Yeah, there's still plenty of flexibility in where that Akali ends up going, but Team Korea, they've got so many advantages coming into this red side. As that red side last pick, they can save that for Keen and give him a carry matchup into Let Me. Even taking the Darius into Cho'Gath like we saw yesterday. Supposedly a difficult matchup, but winning it with almost no problem, while even getting double support ban away from Ming. Team Korea are so prepared coming into this.
I love what I see here. Morgana and Tahm Kench, two amazing supports that look to save out your AD carry. Kai'Sa's going to be on her own on this one. Even if you pick up, let's say, a Braum that's left up. If it's going to be a Braum Gragas composition from China, it's going to be a
Will team split push period already with Faker very early.
Faker needs himself, so Faker has to calm down, get the potions running up.
Yeah, Xie's feigning with that Blade Surge. He's got his stun prepped up as well, using both of the refillables alongside that Dark Seal to keep him topped up. And Score will show himself on a ward to try and dissuade Xie from stepping up in the mid lane because he's still hungry for that kill.
That's the thing. You see where the Kindred is, but Kindred cannot get pulled into the mid lane. That would be
That's the
distracting.
stun and the Blade Surge. A good knock-up, and Xie decides not to chase. Actually, he goes under the turret, taunted, forced to flash back.
He is so hungry for the kill. Tried anything to get it. Using the cleanse, of course. Just, you're in a situation where you can get
Wave starting to push up and score on this side of the map. Level Glacial Storm lands. Uzi goes in and finds himself the kill alongside Ming. Score is forced to get in there as teleport is completed from Let Me. He's looking for Score, trying to chase him down. The second perfect execution doesn't find the burst damage, but he follows him over the wall as Ming finds the kill, lands Respite, but Score has got nowhere to go. Let Me finds the solo kill.
Unreal, such a sticky champion. Joins in the fight and he knows he can follow the Kindred. A massive win for Team China.
You can hear the fans chanting Team China fighting as they're now taking an advantage in this game. 700 gold ahead. Faker's holding down the fort in the mid lane as Keen is trying to counter push up top, but that's already an accelerated bottom, jungle, and top for Team China.
I hope we get another replay on that one because it really started with the attitude change of Ruler and Core JJ. They wanted to set up around Dragon. The key way to do it, step one, push bottom lane. They tried to do it. MLXG found the window to just jump on pick onto Xie mid lane. So this is going to be a little bit difficult, a tough road for China for the minutes to come.
It is starting to stall some things out, but as you said, some big items have been completed. Guinsoo's for Uzi, like you mentioned. Blade of the Ruined King from Ruler to try and match that. Similarly, Faker has completed his Rod of Ages, and junglers are well on their way towards their own second items after the jungle item has been completed. But Xie has been stalled in the mid lane with that death. Still no Triforce, no massive Aurelia burst. And even Let Me, despite being 150 CS, hasn't gotten the chance to recall and finish off that Gunblade. So if Team China want to look for a fight, they need to get a recall into that mid and top lane before they can open the map up.
Yeah, I just want him to have the Stinger really. At this point, the Aurelia wants to be having the constant damage flowing out, so no attack speed from the Stinger coming out. CDR could follow, so with the Trinity Force, once he gets that massive purchase, then he can find himself in the side lane. It really just depends on when Xie feels comfortable. You might have to join the fight because there's so many people just around the bottom lane, constantly just looking for a fight to happen.
Yeah, MLXG and Score both sitting outside of vision of the enemy teams, as both Ruler and Uzi playing around the ward saying, we see you, but do you see us? That's the important question. Turns out they both had vision of each other, and neither of them were having any intent of going in. And the wave continues to bounce back and forth. 20 CS for Uzi in the bottom lane ahead of Ruler. In the mid lane, Faker is 10 ahead, and in the top lane, another 30 for Let Me.
A difficult problem, a problem that Korea now faces. If they start and engage bottom lane, Gragas is playing so far out, so you'd have to start the fight on towards Gragas. He has himself the Glacial Shroud, fairly tanky too. So it's going to be difficult just because it's going to be the constant damage of Uzi in the backside, seeing if you can peel on towards the Alistar. And I think they have the damage with the Guinsoo's already being built up. So China, if a fight were to happen, they might be able to take it. It just depends if the double teleport comes in at the same time with Aurelia and Akali coming in.
They've both got those teleports back up. Recall was finished for Let Me. He's level 12 with his second point in that perfect execution. He's finished the Gunblade and has a Blasting Wand as he heads back into the top lane to keep Keen busy, but that does mean the Dragon is now up. Team Korea are already setting up in the river. MLXG is about to run out of time on this Rift Herald, though. They might just trade a mid-tier 1 for what could be this Cloud Dragon.
Massive things coming out. Of course, that means that the Rift Herald must be being placed mid. It just depends where he wants to go at this point. He's just hidden in the jungle. I guess it's going to be leaning top side, so Rift Herald should be going top.
Let Me gets that first turret and finds himself with solo gold as Shelly the Rift Herald makes her way around to the tier 2. Keen tries to stall it, but she closes her eyes. And the second charge will land onto this tier 2. And Let Me still following up for more pressure.
This is going to be difficult for Keen going forward with the Gunblade being picked up now. The Akali has a lot of sustain. Won't be 100-0 at all. So the trade potential that we were talking about with Shen earlier on in the game does not matter. The only thing he has to worry about is defending the tower. So if Akali gets too close, you can counter, sure. But you can't get far away from your tower or this is going to happen.
Yeah, already Let Me trading. That's the Shadow Dash landing, but Score is there.
Oh, wow.
And even the teleport from Faker out of base. Can Let Me outplay this? He uses the perfect execution, and MLXG with the save gets Let Me to safety.
That was so much expended to try and get the Akali top lane. At least she used her own ulti, but she's just going to come right back. I mean, nothing's really changed with her positioning, so it's going to be difficult for Faker now, knowing that he's going to be stuck mid, and if he ever goes bottom lane to pick up a wave, then he won't be online for a top lane fight, his teleport being down.
And it is only 40 seconds until that Baron spawns, so you want to keep that Galio nearby so that he can join in just in case anything were to happen. But still, we're 20 minutes into the game, and this bottom lane is pushing back and forth, trying to sustain it out. A very extended laning phase. But we do now see a lane swap. Xie, with his completed Triforce, goes top, and Let Me decides to stay towards this mid lane, as they could be trying to collapse here.
Yeah, it just makes it so Let Me on the Akali can actually help in the bottom lane dive. It's great because she can pick up the tower aggro early and then just dive into obscurity. So there's a lot of ways you can play it out. It does mean that the tankiness that Aurelia provided early on won't be there in presence. So maybe she joins with the teleport, but it's going to be much harder for Shen to deal with her top lane. So she might just try and stay top.
Yeah, you can already see he's pushing Shen out of that lane. Xie keeping Keen busy at the red buff as they're playing around the vision. Now Baron has spawned. Score sets up a trap, but not the desired target walks into it. MLXG happy to push him away. Even though Core JJ was there to support, it seems as though Team Korea's earlier mistakes have slowed them down. They're being a bit more hesitant with their opportunities. We saw an attempted collapse up top, but that one gets denied by Team China. And now it's just constant maneuvering around this laning phase. It's looking for an opening that Team China just isn't willing to give.
And this is interesting. You already see grouping up mid lane. Faker might get a flash off here.
Shield of Durand, yeah.
You have to respect it every time he channels it.
She is there. They might not have spotted, but they found Score. That's the hero's entrance for a knockup. No one gets caught. Void Seeker, as 5 members of Team China are grouped against the 3. Rulers on the side, still holding onto the arrow, and though Core JJ gets stunned, he's able to walk it off.
A lot of resources expended from Korea's side. No flash on towards the Kindred, and a Galio ulted just for defense, so that's actually a massive win for China. Next fight they go for could be the Galio that uses his cask in the next fight. That they can come out with a win.
Now Uzi starting to step up. He's got 2 items with the Nashor's Tooth and Guinsoo's. It's good old AP Kai'Sa, big plasma burst if he's able to get a handful of slower because
wards in the blue side jungle. So good win from Korea. Just having to expand a few abilities. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but it has a low cooldown.
And this is the Team Korea's pedigree of being so patient, waiting for the right opportunity.
Oh, no.
But Team China, they might be caught out here. Core JJ finds the knockup, flash from Ming to get out of there. MLXG on the side. He gets over the wall as Xie is left all alone. The turret is already down. He splits off and flashes away. Team Korea, despite losing the laning phase, losing those kills early on, continue to find these openings.
Yeah, that was a great opening from Core JJ to look for a headbutt pulverize. He gets the flash, which is nice off the dragon. We're gonna have to see if he can ever kind of convert that.
Well, Ming is on the side. He's found Faker. Manages to get the body slam onto Core JJ. He's got the ultimate. A cask knocks him back. They're going for the plasma, trying to kill the support. Faker goes in. MLXG is low, but goes golden. And there goes the Lamb's respite. Lemmy's ready to get into the fight. Uzi's trying to kite it out on the back, but he can't get through Keen. Lemmy steps forward and goes down. Ruler survives in the back, leaving Uzi as the sole survivor. Flash, slow, the arrow, long range, will miss as Team China lose 4.
So well played from Korea, especially Score coming in with the Lamb's respite. So there was no way for you to net the kill on towards Core JJ, and at the very least extend the time so the entire 5v5 comes through. Akali tries to come in with a flank, but just completely denied. No way for her to really carry out a longer fight without obscurity.
As we said, it is so difficult in those extended engages, but now Team Korea, they found the opening, and they're turning onto the Baron. Ming making his way out of the base, and there is no chance unless Uzi can land a Miracle Void Seeker. You can hear the fans chanting as they take it down. Team Korea find themselves in the lead.
A good response, and it really all starts on the support battle. You know, it's always fun to see the support fights. You see the crowd getting into it. It was a good catch to Ming, which turned into a great catch to Core JJ as you throw the cask into it. Take a look at this. Core JJ tried to find the flashless Ming, but the team was there to get the pick off to Core JJ. Moment Lamb's respite is ready. It saves Ruler, of course, who is getting flanked by the Akali, and they can re-engage around the Galio taunt. So then suddenly, there's no way you can assassinate Ruler any longer. State comes out of the fight with 1 HP.
Whoa, looks like MLXG gets caught very overextended, forced to dash away, leaving Uzi all by himself. Stand united, Keen eats a stun, and will not follow with a flash shadow dash. As Team China now forced to back away. Dragon's up in 30 seconds, and the stun will stop Team Korea from following, but looks like they've already got the Baron, they've got the wave prep bottom, and they're set up for this Dragon.
Great cast from Ming to stop Sejuani from dying, falling in the hands of Korea. At the very least, Korea can go back and get the Dragon now. They just keep trying to fish for a kill.
Yeah, if they so desire. It seems like right now they're going to focus on turrets. We're 30 minutes into the game, and that's now the second turret being taken by Team Korea. This laning phase has been stalled and slowed so much by Team Korea to hold on to their mid lane, to hold on to their bottom lane. And despite the constant splitting from Xie and Letme, they're just not able to do anything, as that is triple Infernal Dragon for Team Korea.
There we go, team fight ready. And with the next one looking to be the Elder Dragon, there's no way you can team fight into the Korea. You have to be creative about it. Ming is going to be crucial if he can get the proper body slam and cast. We'll have to see if that's the case, but Korea's been playing very safely in the late game.
Yeah, the mid-tier 2 is broken. Faker already prepping the wave bottom. He's level 17 with a Rabadon's death cap after Zhonya's. So not only is he tanky, but he is also going to do a lot of damage as his team collapses to finish off this next turret. Team China's window of opportunity is getting smaller and smaller as it's Team Korea forcing them to defend.
And it's such a hard job for Letme. Just take a look at him. He's trying to be useful, but he's going up against a Kindred with Hexdrinker and an Ashe with Maw Malmortius. If he tries to go into the assassination, there's no way you can do it, and put him in a side lane. And you already talked about the heavy magic as this Keen has picked up for himself. So it's such a tough road for the Akali because the assassination is no longer a viable route.
I mean, even the Locket of Iron Solari to pop up an additional shield to keep his carries alive whenever he joins into these fights. There is so much denial out of Team Korea. Xie completes his recall as he heads back to base, but Baron still on Team Korea. They've broken down both the mid and bottom tier 2s, not getting to the inhibitors just yet, as Uzi will finally break down the bottom tier 1. But even so, look at how much has been invested to try and defend this. He's continuing to push up against Keen, and Team Korea are looking for the bottom tier 2 turret.
Yeah, a little bit too many people in the bottom lane. This is going to be a major push top
Keen
side.
is being dove. His health is going low.
What?
Forced to flash away, as I believe that was Faker getting involved in that play. The bottom tier 2 is traded. Looks like we might have a base race. Uzi trying to outplay this, but Faker is doing damage, and Keen finds the kill. Team China trying to base race, and it blows up in their face as Keen and Faker get the outplay and chase these down. They're losing an inhibitor top.
50-second death timer on Uzi. This should be the kill here for Korea. There's no reason for him to stop now.
Xie and Letme, the two split pushers are forced to take a team fight. Teleport on to the cannon minion. Xie goes low, he dives in. Letme steps forward, but Faker joins the fray just as being respawned. Still, Xie dives as best he can. Letme tries to stall it out, but the double kill, and Team Korea, 33 minutes in, turn on to the Nexus and even up the series 1-1.
Yeah, you think you can get the backstage access to the carries. There are too many bouncers in this club. Galio just not, allowing you to start those fights. Well, good job here to Korea to end the game off of what was a desperate run from China in the bottom lane.
Capitalizing on an overextension and aggressive play, the Korean fans cheering their home team on as they even things out and bring us down to a best-of-3 between the Republic of Korea and the People's Republic of China in this matchup, as Faker gets the chance to take out his carry Galio, such a signature champion, especially against these Chinese teams, and shows, hey, this is something that you have to respect. Red side, blue side, ban or not, you've got to worry about this.
Yeah, stop it. That's just essentially what he was doing every single time. He was a great pick. I think it was very crucial when Xie was getting the fruits in the river in the bottom lane, around the river. He can get the pick there. So while China was actually so focused on the 2v2 mid lane, you net the free kill on towards Xie, and a lot of the dragon pressure was then now in Korea's core, and they were able to take that home. Triple Infernal Dragon in there, man.
Yeah, and that was despite the laning phase going heavily in Team China's favor,
yes.
Using Uzi and Ming, constantly collapsing from MLXG, picking up those early kills, but not able to take the turret, not able to control the dragon, and just constant vision denial from Score, from Faker. The threat of collapsing, whether they would or not, was more than enough to deny China the opportunity to pursue.
Yeah, and I think the Galio was key to all of this. Remember in the previous games that we've come across whenever it's China versus Korea, Faker, he's going to play Yasuo, the Galio, and you have to deny the Galio just because it stops a lot of what China is trying to do, especially when they're bringing back the Irelia and the top lane pick the Akali.
The Akali, yeah.
So a lot of dive threat didn't matter. Even in, put in the Kindred and the Shen there, so there's so much denial. It buys a lot of time for Korea to join the fight and to capitalize.
And we've got to remember that Akali first pick for Team China said, hey, we can flex this towards mid, we can flex this towards top. They tried to react with the Irelia, but Team Korea in the ban phase, they saved counter pick for Keen, and as we said, instead of putting him on a carry, they put him on a tank. They put him on a denial champion. It wasn't his presence on the map through split pushing that gave Team Korea the victory, but it was his presence in denying Letme's Akali from assassinating any targets. 2
Akali games from Letme, 2 losses for Letme. And a lot of the times, teams would say, ban away the Akali, she's broken on this patch. The issue is she has one core weakness in her laning phase, and that's just being able to get pushed in pretty repeatedly. And this is through mid lane. So problem here now is for China, if you put Akali in the mid lane, you lose mid lane priority, you're losing the shove. Hey, maybe she does push into Galio, but if she goes bottom lane, Galio can follow up and save out that team fight. And then you put Akali top lane, sure, she's not going to be able to join the fights. Add in more tanks in the top lane, the Shen getting it for them through the Kindred jungle, and a Galio mid lane is, wait, suddenly we can't team fight and can flank. So I think that Korea, if they get red side again, keep giving away the Akali so you can have a tank in the top lane or something to deny her in the mid lane.
Well, Team Korea will get side selection in the next game as they are the higher seed. That's side selection in games 1, 3, and 5. And we can talk about those picks and bans when we get to them, because Team China, they've got to show us something different. If even on blue side, they have to ban away power picks like Aatrox, like Akali. But over the duration of that game, it was Faker Ruler and Score, who put out a standout performance through that mid lane Galio, through the Ashe, through the Kindred to open up the map. And despite Letme's massive damage against Keen, the only person who really damaged Team Korea was Uzi in those team fights.
Yeah, and that's where you really look towards this. Sure, Letme has the damage, but that's just a case of being a top lane, I would say, abusive matchup. Akali's just going to keep throwing out Qs, Shen's going to tank it, so of course by the end game you just say, wow, she does a lot of damage, but she's not able to do the decisive damage in those team fights. When she joined up, she was dealing with multiple Hex Drinkers. There's no way for her to get an assassination across. And remember, as we look towards our man of the match being Faker, the issue with picking up multiple dives into a Kindred is very obvious. It's the denial that comes through it. Oftentimes when we see the matchup of Nocturne versus the Kindred, it's that, well, yeah, sure, you can go in on the fight, but you're going to have to commit to a much longer fight than you would have wanted.
And I think that's what the Gragas was supposed to try and deny, but Ming getting caught out that one time at Raptor Camp might have stalled his ability to look for these casks, because anytime he steps up now, he knows he can be destroyed before getting that ultimate off. So constantly playing these mind games, playing whether or not Team China can look for the engage, or should they be the ones disengaging over the course of the game, and Team Korea being the ones to dictate that decision for Team China and only find those victories themselves. That said, we're going to go and take a quick break. It's now tied 1-1 in this best of 5. The Asian Games 2018 Esports Demonstration event. We'll be right back with Game 3.